Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to another episode of the Usagi Podjimbo podcast. I'm your host, Mike, as always. I wanted to take a little break from the main Usagi Yojimbo story and kind of talk about two little, side stories. It's the first time that the Ninja Turtles met Usagi Yojimbo. The first one is called Turtle Rabbit. Turtle Rabbit. I can't speak. Turtle Soup and Rabbit Stew is the first one we were going to be talking about. And that one was created or put out in 1987, a year after I was born, because I was born in 1986. But we're going to be talking about that one. And that one showed up in an anthology series called Turtle Soup from the Ninja Turtles run. And then we will be talking about the next one as well, because that one is called The Treaty, and that one was in Usagi Yojimbo number 10, I believe, which I skipped over because it was not in the Usagi Yojimbo Origins printings. So we skipped over that, but we're going to cover it here today. So yeah, let's get into this. This is going to be a fun little story we're going to talk about today. And yeah, let's get into it. So we start out with Leonardo, of all people. He's like, well, I guess I'm going, 1 minute, I'm on an exercise run, running around, and I'm falling through space and time. He doesn't really know what's going on, but he thinks it has something to do with Renette, and Renette is a character in the Ninja Turtles universe who she can like control space and time, and she has some adventures with the Ninja Turtles. She is very much, if I remember correctly, she is very much known for having the Time Scepter, which the Time Scepter plays a role in the third Ninja Turtles movie. But we get Leonardo, and Leonardo stumbles. We see this Tokage. Just Tokage is eating a slug or a snail, and Leonardo poofs in, and you see the Tokage run away, and he's like, What's going on? I don't understand what's going on." He's like, "Oh, where am I? What's going on?" Next thing you know, I'm here. This isn't Kansas anymore, Leonardo says. Leonardo happens to run across some samurai or ronin, and he's like, "Samurai, this must be Japan." You see Leonardo has a shocked look on his face, like, "Oh my god, what's going on?" But these samurai are animals. I've never heard of animal samurai. That is ridiculous, Leonardo says. And you see the samurai. They're like, "Hey, we're rough and tough outlaw Ronins. Give us all your money or we'll kill you." And I like this scene, this transition from Leonardo, like normal Leonardo, to attack Leonardo, where he has pupils in his eyes before, and then he gets all serious and the pupils erase from his eyes, which are pretty cool. And he attacks them, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna kill you." And Leo, we get this cool scene of Leo taking out these guys. Meanwhile, not so far away, we have Usagi, and Usagi is walking along, and he's like, "Go away, ninja. If you want to live, you're gonna regret your actions," because he is I don't want to say come upon by he's come upon by some Neko ninjas, and they're like, "Yeah, we finally caught you up with you, Miyamoto Usagi. You're gonna pay for all the stuff that you plagued the Neko ninjas with." And Usagi is not about that, but Usagi takes him on single-handedly, and we get this funny scene because they're not too far from each other. Usagi and Leonardo actually happen to intersect. We get this funny scene of a Tokage going "What the hell's going on?" But I love this scene. It's a very nice juxtaposition of the two different fighting styles I really do like, because Usagi and Leonardo are very much very, very similar, in that aspect. But as Leonardo is fighting, he happens to say there's a lot more of these than I thought there were going to be. And you see them all mixing up, and the ninjas and the samurai mix up, and Usagi and Leonardo are fighting these guys. They have yet to notice each other at this point, but then they finally do, because all the rest of them are all dead. The samurai and the ninja are all dead. And Leonardo's like, finally, they're Usagi and Leonardo are like, finally, only one left. No doubt they are the most dangerous one. And they kind of like run at each other, and Leo pops out of existence, and we see this funny scene of Usagi's like, what the hell's going on? We hear a crash, bam, wham, and Usagi is upside down on a tree, and he's like, I hate ninja, with his swords are sticking in the ground. Usagi is definitely not having a very good day. And then we go over to the New York apartment, which I'm guessing this is the apartment that April owns. Uh, we see like a little cockroach, and they're like it says in a New York apartment, and we get these two pictures of Mama Turtle and Dad Turtle, which are really funny. I want to know where these came from. I want more context behind this. I'm guessing it's probably just like a little in joke, you know. But bam, Leonardo pops in, and he's running, and he crashes as well into his brothers. And they're like, oh, what happened? And Leo's like, where's the rabbit? Where's the rabbit? I was fighting a rabbit. And they were like, fighting a bunny? What are you talking about? And one of them says, sheesh, what a wimp, Leo telling Leo. And that's kind of where our issue ends for this comic. It is a very short story, only 6 pages long, but we will be getting into the next story, which is called The Treaty. So we start out with Leonardo and Usagi Yojimbo in The Treaty, and the gang is waiting with April, or at April's. Leonardo is on a pizza run, running across the roofs. He's like, nothing better than a day munching down some pizza, watching the Magnificent Seven on the tube. He's better hurry. He doesn't want the pizza to get cold. As he tries to, uh, I guess, get away from a cat or try to avoid this cat that's on the rooftop, he jumps down, and he's like, oh, hey, there's April's apartment. Let's, go through the window. And he jumps down, and poof, Leonardo is gone. He's like, oh no, I've blundered, and I'm in one of those space-time continuum things. What's going on? And you see Leonardo fall down, and he's like, man, this just isn't my day. And he still has the pizza box with him, which is really funny. He still has this pizza box from Dave's Pizza, and the pizza falls on Leonardo's head, and he's like, where am I? What's going on? He's like, you hear samurai off in the distance, samurai. And Leo is hiding behind a tree. He's like, that rabbit, I know that rabbit. And you hear, he's like, that is Usagi. And we get this little blurb that from Turtle Soup and Usagi Yojimbo number 10, that, they have previously met before. And you see the Neko ninjas are surrounding Usagi, and we see them be like, we know you have the secret treaty. Give it to us and leave in peace. You have no chance, Usagi, as what they say, tells Usagi. And Leonardo is hiding, and he's like, these ninja look like real tough guys. Usagi must be in trouble. Luckily, he has cavalry, and I am the cavalry, Leonardo says. And Leo jumps out, and he's like, oh my god. They're like, oh my god. The Neko ninjas say, he has a hidden companion. Oh my god. It's a trap. And Usagi is very much surprised that Leo is here. And this poof poof smoke bombs go off. Leo is like, oh, come on, you cowards. You can't get away that easy. And Usagi thanks Leo for saving him. And he gets Leo up to speed as Leo goes to get his pizza. And they're like, they're part of the Neko Ninja clan. They work for Lord Hikiji. They're trying to overthrow the shogunate, stuff like that. And he is trying to, Usagi tells Leo that he is trying to get a treaty for Lord Noriyuki of the Gaishu clan and Lord Fujitaka, I believe that's how you say the name, Fujitako. Because they're trying to, I guess, make an alliance. It seems like, and yeah, it's an alliance treaty, and it's very apparent that we get this treaty to Lord Noriyuki and Lord or more like Lord Fujitaka is the one who actually needs the treaty. Lord Noriyuki, I think, already signed the treaty. So Leo is very much caught up to speed in this situation. I still like the fact that he's carrying the pizza around. I think that's hysterical. And we see this woman walking in the distance behind Leo and Usagi for some pages, and they start talking, and about what's going on, and the bad guys and stuff like that, and uh, Leo happens to mention that, oh, if my brothers were here, we could take them out, no problem. And Usagi is like, what? There are more of you? And he's like, yeah, there are four of us plus Master Splinter. And and Usagi's like, oh, that's interesting. Where are you from? And he's like, back in New York City. And Usagi's like, New York City? I've never heard of such a town before. And Leo starts describing it like it's a big metropolis with thousands of buildings and thousands of people. And Usagi is surprised that such grand castles exist in another world. And he's like, and he's like, do you live in these castles? Usagi says, and Leo's like, no, not really. We actually live in the sewers down below. And Usagi's like, well, next time I'm in New York City, or if I go to New York City, I'll make sure to get it in. I guess Usagi is not very much a sewer life kind of person. As Usagi and Leo are walking along, they get attacked by some shurikens or thrown at them, and they very much deflect them very well. But the pizza doesn't make it through at this point. It gets hit by a bunch of shurikens, and the shurikens go through the pizza. We are very worried about this pizza, just saying. But they are surrounded by Neko ninjas, and we get this awesome like 2-panel fight, which I think is very well done. It's very well drawn. I love this seeing them fight. And then we see like, stay back, or you'll feel the wrath of an enraged turtle, or the turtle enraged. And Leo is upset, obviously, because of the pizza. Obviously, he wants his pizza, but he wants to get back to his brothers as well. And they have the Neko ninjas happen to have the girl that was following Leo and Usagi, and they're like, if you don't give us the treaty, the girl gets it. And Usagi surprisingly gives up the treaty, which is very surprising. And they're like, okay, I guess we won't kill you, but thanks for the treaty. Is what I'm getting out of this. And they're kind of like happy that they succeeded. They succeeded in getting the treaty, and we hope that Lord Noriyuki laments in his failure, and Leo is surprised that they disappeared again, and he calls them cowards. We might still be able to catch them. And Usagi's like, there's no need to do that. Usagi's got his Usagi smirk on his face. There's no need to do that because the woman who has been following them actually has the document that they needed. Usagi's was a fake. And Leo's like, what's going on here, And Usagi introduces Leo to the retainer from Lord Noriyuki, who is Tomoe, which is one of the best characters in Usagi Yojimbo. She actually has the treaty, and it's a really, really funny sight, I guess, or like kind of gag, I would say. Like Leo is kind of like, oh, you tricked them. Huh, how interesting. I never would have thought there would be a fake, But Usagi's like, yeah, there was a fake, and they will like discover it later. And Tomoe ends up picking up the pizza box, and she's like, Leo, is this your box? He's like, oh yes, this is if you're wondering what it is, it's pizza. And she's like, oh, what's pizza? And he's like, oh, it usually doesn't look like this, but it's been stepped on by the 100 ninjas. And, during the fight, it kind of got, and he like gets poofed away. And Usagi says that he hates when this happens because, he likes spending time with Leo, it seems like. And Tomoe says that, Usagi, your friends are really strange, and I wonder where he's gone. And we see one little panel where Leo is screaming, falling, and his pizza is falling with him. And meanwhile, in New York, we see the other turtles are sitting around watching the Magnificent Seven, and one of them gets up. I don't know which one's which because they don't have their bandanas on and they don't have their weapons, so it's a little confusing to see which ones are which. Uh, they're like, "Brr, it's a draft," and they close it, and they're wondering where Leo is because the pizza place is only a few blocks away. Leo happens to crash through the window, like in the beginning. He was going to jump through the window, but he ends up crashing through the window. He ends up showing up where he left off, which was in midair between the window and the building. And they're like, "Oh my God, Leonardo, you're back! What's going on? It's been you left a few hours ago. Where have you been? The pizza parlor is only a few blocks away, like I said, and the show has ended." And April is more concerned about her window, obviously, because it's her apartment. She's worried about the window, and like they're kind of looking at the pizza and they're like, "Man, this pizza looks like it's been stepped on, like cut in half. A horde of ninjas have been uh stomping on it." And we see them in the foreground, like looking at this pizza. It's not appealing whatsoever. The pizza has gone through the ringer, and we see Leo and April in the background. And he's like, "Honest, April, there was a samurai rabbit," and April is not having it. She's like, "Oh, okay, not the killer bunny story again. Okay, Leo." And that's where this story ends. Personally, for two short stories that have like no real weight to the Usagi Yojimbo story whatsoever, other than they get the crossover with the Ninja Turtles, I think they are fun little stories. Um, I like them. I think I like the second story a little bit more because we do get more of the Usagi Yojimbo characters. We get honestly more time to spend with Usagi and Leonardo together because obviously they're kindred spirits. Um, but the first story is fun. It's funny. It's a very interesting way to cross people over, which is poof and poof out type of thing. They don't really truly affect each other's stories in the long run, but it is canon to the Usagi Yojimbo universe. And at the moment, I want to say it's canon to the original Turtles universe. Because when we get into the other crossovers, I can't remember if they remember each other or not. I think they do in the second crossover, but not in the third crossover. They don't remember each other. Well, the Turtles don't. But I think it's fun. I like seeing the turtles in Stan Sakai's style. I think they fit really well in the Usagi Yojimbo world. I thought these crossovers were fun. Um, it's not nothing to write home about, but they are fun. Like I guess like side stories are distractions from the main stories that are going on. It's fun to see. I like how um, was reading like an interview about how the turtles and Usagi ended up like getting together, like becoming a crossover and like becoming intertwined. And apparently, like Stan Sakai and like Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman, they would like write letters to each other, and they became like pen pals. And at one point, they were because they had the whole big black and white boom. They had Peter Laird, Kevin Eastman, and Stan Sakai on a panel together or something, or they were doing like a signing, I think it was. And Peter leans over. He's like, "Hey, you want to get Usagi and the Turtles? We can put Usagi in the Turtles if you want." And that's kind of like how their relationship kind of blossomed. And Usagi got into the cartoons, into the comic books, and I think it's there, yeah, because they had Turtle Soup, so they was in their comics, and they've had this like really nice relationship over the years. Like the two have like worked well together. um, but yeah, these were fun. These two little short stories were really fun. Highly recommend checking them out. They are in the hardcover for for the Usagi Yojimbo hardcover for the Fantagraphics run. The first story is also in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Usagi Yojimbo crossover, the little hardcover that I'll have to get to in a little while, but it's there. And I think the second one is in the original run for Usagi Yojimbo, if I remember correctly. I can't remember, to be honest. Sometimes it's a little hard to remember. But yeah, I like it. And this is the first time I actually started reading Usagi Yojimbo in black and white. It's a little weird transition from doing color to black and white, but I still enjoyed it. I think I really liked the black and white as well. Like it was a like a little jarring at first, but like the black and white works really really well in the Usagi in this world, this comic world. Like Stan Sakai is really good at inking, I have to say. But yeah, this was fun, and I want to read the other turtle crossovers. I know there's one in the Mirage slash Usagi Yojimbo Saga trade paperbacks, and then I have the standalone story where they meet again later on. So we'll have to cover those too when we get to them. But I just wanted to do this one because it was just little like I don't want to say like it was how should I put it? I wanted to do something like fun, and because I feel like after the Dragon Bellow conspiracy and then the one I'm going to cover next, they're very much like somber, like nothing really good comes of it. Like there's sad stories kind of towards the end of those. Like the next one I'm going to do is there's like Fire and Ice, I believe it's called, and then we had the death of Spot, which was the last episode, which was very very sad. So I wanted to do something kind of a little lighthearted to break it up in the middle. So that's why I wanted to cover these. But yeah, thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Like and share the podcast. Make sure to rate the podcast on whatever podcast platform you choose to rate us on. And we'll catch you guys on the next episode. Peace out. Stay safe and go read some Usagi Yojimbo and maybe throw in a little bit of Ninja Turtles here and there, just for the safe side,